Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we have, I would say, a brand new archetype, but it's actually just a continuation on Kashatrila, which is coming out in Darkwing Blast, but this is now for Photon Hypernova, the core set coming out after that. We're a ways away from this, but this is crazy. If you guys don't know, since we don't have a Kashatrila, a lot of TCG players may not be aware, but in the OCG, those cards are being generically splashed because they are just like insane cards. They like literally search you another card in the deck, then they're all just like interruptions. So they really felt like more of just like a small package. Some people are citing them for going second or whatever. A lot of people are maining just a small package because they're just individually insane cards to draw. But now we actually get an archetype around them. Let's see how they expand out. So starting off here, we have Kashatrila Rise Heart. It's a level 4 Fire Warrior. This is a Rhoda target. It's also a Durendal target. We'll see if that comes up. Its attack is 15. Defense is 2100. You can only use both of its effects once per turn. If you control a Kashatrila monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except XYZ monsters. Very interesting. So they already have one of their, I'll call them Cyber Dragon guys, where they literally say if you control no other monster, or no monsters on your field, you can special summon them. And then all three of the ones we have already just say one of them just during the main phase as an ignition effect searches monsters, spells, and traps for the deck. So we already have a card that can literally just go special summon without your normal, search this, and then this can summon. It does, however, lock you into Exceed, so keep that in mind. During your main phase, if this card was normal or special summoned during this turn, you can banish a Kashatrila card from your deck except for Rise Heart to banish the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck face down, and if you do, this card's level becomes 7. Very, very interesting. So this card does level modulate to a 7, which is pretty spicy because it means the I can't remember which one it is, if it's Fenrir or I think it's Fenrir and Unicorn are the two good ones. Although the trap one could get better here, we'll see. It's pretty good because now it means Fenrir, I think, is the monster searcher. So without your normal, you go special Fenrir, search this card, special this card, use the effect to not only banish the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck, which could have bonuses, like if you banish a 1-off, that's part of their engine, it's just kind of gone now. If you banish Rodent Totem, Smashers, Red, Carrot, Pixies, any of those 1-offs are stuff like Sprite or some 1-offs that they want to mill off of tier, like the Snow, that actually could be huge. And then it becomes a 7, so that's a without your normal summon, 1 card, rank 7. Does lock you into Exceeds though, so keep that in mind. It's also normal summonable, so you could just search this and normal summon it. Cool. Still make it a 7 without locking yourself into Exceeds only. It's cool. Very cool card. Okay. Next up here we have Scareclaw Kashatrila. Whoa! This card counts as both. Okay. Level 7 Earth Psychic Effect Monster. 0 attack, 2600 defense, so big and beefy. You can only use this card's effect once per turn. During the main phase, quick effect. You can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, banish 1 Kashatrila or Scareclaw card from your hand or graveyard. Interesting. A lot of banishing going on. We'll see if there's some other cards here that actually like make better value off of that. Interesting. So I'm assuming this means it's an and if you do. So does that mean like if you don't have a Kashatrila or a Scareclaw in hand or grave, can you even like activate this at all? Interesting. Okay. This card can attack while in defense position. If it does, its defense is applied as its attack. That's actually pretty cool. For Scareclaw reasons, you can be offensive with this card, but leave it in defense to get like the bonus effects. And negate the effects of an opponent's monster that battles a Kashatrila or Scareclaw monster you control until the end of the turn. Okay, not bad. I mean, that's fine. That's a fine effect. I'm sure it could come up in niche situations, but I wouldn't expect it to come up like every single duel. Interesting extender. Very interesting. Also, just another like okay level 7 extender. We'll take it. Cool. Next up here we have TEARLAMENT's Kashatrila. Of course. A level 7 water psychic effect monster, 23 and 12, so this one's a little bigger. 3 hard ones per turn effects. During the main phase, quick effect. You can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, banish a Kashatrila or a TEARLAMENT card from your hand or graveyard. Again, pretty interesting there. Again, I don't know the ruling on that 100%. If you have to have a banishable target just to even like summon these in the first place. But but still, it comes out pretty quick, pretty beefy. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send the top 3 cards of either deck to the graveyard. Okay, in most scenarios, I'm assuming you're just sending your own cards for like, tier limit effects and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And third effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Like, honestly, I could legit see this card seeing play in Tearlament. Like, right now, potentially. Like, it's a Tearlament name, so it's technically searchable off the field spell. You can, like, extend it on a field by banishing, like, a Tearlament that's already engraved. Then you can go ahead and mill 3. And then if you have a way to remove this from the field via card effect, go ahead and mill 2 more. Pretty good. I don't know. This could come up for sure. Interesting. Not as crazy as far as like pure Kashatrila goes, but we'll see. Okay, next up here we have another card, Kashatrila, Arise Heart, a rank 7 Dark Machine, 3,000, huge. It does require 3 level 7s, so that's pretty tough. You can also exceed summon this card once per turn. During a turn, the effect of Kashatrila Shangri-La are activated using a Kashatrila monster you control as material. I believe that's already the rank 7 that exists for Kashatrila that they can make fairly easily, so that's actually pretty cool. Okay, first effect. Cards sent to the graveyard are banished instead. Wow, just any cards. This card's already insane. Once per chain, each time a banished card activates its effect, attach 1 banished card to this card as material. Interesting. I don't know if that one will come up all that often unless this deck is going to have stuff to trigger that. Once per turn, quick effect. You could attach 3 materials from this card, then target 1 card on the field, banish that card face down. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So if you summon this card like on top of a Shangri-La with 2 materials, that this has 3, not only is this just Macrocosmos, but a Macrocosmos with a quick effect banish something on the field face down. That is insanely powerful. This card could definitely come up, especially since the Shangri-La is just like a generic 7, I believe. So this card is not that hard to set up at all. Okay, this card's kind of crazy for sure. Okay, moving on from here, we have Kashatrila Overwrap. This is a quick play spell, 2 hard ones per turn effects. You can target a monster on the field, any monster, banish a monster with 1,500 attack and 2,100 defense from your hand, graveyard, or field, and the target monster gains 1,500 attack. Okay. And if this card is banished and you control a Kashatrila, you can target an effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of the turn. So I guess if you could like quick effect banish this on your opponent's turn, you'd be able to go ahead and fire this for a negate, which is kind of cool. Nothing crazy though. This is just a battle trap, you know. Next up we have Kashatrila Papayas. Excuse me? Okay, normal spell, 2 hard ones per turn effects. You can target a Kashatrila monster you control as cost. Special summon a Kashatrila monster with a different attribute from your deck in defense position. But you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Exceed. So you do Exceed lock yourself, but just summoning another attribute is pretty freaking strong. Because there's like a monster searcher and a spell searcher already. So you literally just like summon the spell searcher, search this card, use this card targeting the spell searcher to summon the monster searcher, and then he searches you, I don't know, the level 4, and then you can make the Exceed and overlay into the new guy, all off of 1 card. Wow. Okay. If this card is banished, target one of your banished Kashatrila cards and add that card to your hand. That's pretty good. I figured something like that would be in here. So if this card just gets banished, you're just recovering a Kashatrila from hand. Unfortunately, it doesn't add self back, but still, this is already a pretty powerful card, all things considered. Next up, we have a field spell. This is Prime Planet Paraisos. A field spell, you can only target 1 card with this card's name, or you can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn, and the third effect is a once per turn. When this card is activated, you can add a Kashatrila monster from deck to hand. Okay. At least this doesn't have Kashatrila in the name. At least. Monsters you control gain 100 attack and defense for each different attribute among monsters on the field. That's the field, not your field. And because you're playing Kashatrila and they're all different attributes, you should have multiple just by yourself, which is cool. And third, if a Kashatrila Shangri-La you control activates its effect, you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it. Wow, that's a good field spell. That's really, really good. That makes me think like going second Kashatrila could be like a legit deck because of this card. For sure. Okay, moving on. Scareclaw Defense. Oh, okay, this one's just straight up a Scareclaw card. Not even a Kashatrila. Okay. You can only use the third effect of this card once per turn. Scareclaw Link monsters and Visas Defrost you control cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's effects. Wow, just complete protection from targeting and destruction effects. Cool. Monsters destroyed in battle by your Scareclaw Link monsters and your Visas Defrost are banished instead of being sent to grave. Fine, that could come up, I guess, but it's like not like the best effect there. And you can banish one Scareclaw Link monster from your field or grave to target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. Wow. So just like you already go through your Link 1 like every single turn. So just like cool. Once per turn, just a free banish him from grave to pop a card. It's pretty freaking nice. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this could be a legit playable card in Scareclaw for sure. All right, moving on. We have Trivi Karma. We'll see about the name on that, but that does not have Kashatrila in the text, so that's weird. Target, okay, so you can only use one of its effects once per turn. Target a Visas Defrost you control and one effect monster your opponent controls. Negate the opponent's monster's effects, and if you do, your monster gains attack equal to half of that monster's original attack and defense, whichever is higher. This is fine. This is like just cheeky. I don't think it seems very good at all, but okay. You can also banish this card from your graveyard to just add a spell or trap from your deck to that mentions Visas Starfrost. Okay, now that makes this card much more interesting. Much, much more interesting. So you could literally just play this card as like a Foolish Burial Goods target, or in a deck that just discards as like its basic combo, like already discards. So boom, you're just able to trigger this card like super easily and freely to just go ahead and get you any Visas Defrost spell trap. That's pretty cool because pretty much anything in the entire lore does that, which is sweet. Very interesting. Okay. Cool. That makes more sense why this doesn't have an archetypal name, because it does just generically search like every one of these archetype spell traps. And the last new card we have here is a new trap. Keep in mind, the only Kashatrila that we already have that is like subpar is the Trap Searcher, because we just don't have a good trap target yet. So let's see if this card picks that up. This is a Kashatrila Big Bang. It's a normal trap. Both of its effects are hard once per turns. If there is a Kashatrila Exceed monster on the field, make both players banish monsters face up so that they only control one monster. Second effect, if this card is banished, you can target a Kashatrila Exceed monster you control. This card is banned. Okay. Add one Kashatrila monster attached to it as material to your hand. Then you can special summon that monster from your hand. Okay, interesting. Does this card make the trap one better? I would say probably, but I don't think it makes it amazing. This card's kind of just like a pseudo evenly matched that's searchable in an archetype, because you force your opponent to get rid of everything until they have one monster. Does the same thing to you, but like mostly if you're ending on the Kashatrila Exceed, the new one, it's probably the only thing you're ending on in a lot of scenarios. Or maybe you already fired Interruptions, then you can fire this card if they are able to play through it. Like Sprite, if they put multiple 2s on the field before they get to like Link or Exceed off, that's when you fire this to make sure they like lose most of their materials on field. It's pretty good. Yeah, I think this works. And the effect from when it's banished is like okay as well. Again, like the downside here is that both effects require you to control not only a Kashatrila, but a Kashatrila Exceed, which is kind of asking a lot. If it was just Kashatrila, I'd be way more in love with this effect, because in a pure variant, if you wanted to try and play pure, like it would be super easy to at least make that first effect live. Just, oh, my opponent has 4 monsters on field, they have to get rid of everything but one. And this isn't even like affecting them with card effects. It's affecting your opponent technically, which is really funny. One of those evenly matched rulings. But not a bad card. Definitely makes the trap guy a little better, but not amazing. So there we go. I think all in all, I'm like really kind of a lot going on here. Not exactly sure where we end up. I mean, Rise Heart does help the deck spam out rank 7 plays. This guy's weird. I'm not sure if these both still, again, I'm still not sure if they have to have a Kashatrila or Scareclaw in hand or grave to fire this off. It's not a you can, so I'm assuming it's like you have to have one of those things in rotation, which makes them like not as consistent. If they could literally just like Gizmek summon out on your opponent's turn, so you already have the body going into your next turn, that could be like really crazy, but I understand why not. Although, to be fair, this girl's just straight up like a pretty good hand trap going second, right? Because even if you have to give up her and a Tearlament in your hand, you just like banish the Tearlament to summon this card, and then you mill 3, and then and then if this card's sent to grave, you get to mill 2 more. So it kind of gives you another card in Tearlaments on top of Havni that gives you like another way to like essentially have like an in-archetype hand trap going second, which is kind of funny. We'll see if that comes up though. Kind of weird, but you know, still interesting. I'm definitely curious where we go here. This boss monster is crazy. This spell's okay. This card's a pretty good extender and opens up Kashatrila to do like way more plays than just like their basic stuff that they do. Field spell's insane. This card's an interesting card for Scareclaw. This card's a pretty interesting card for like Visas to Frost decks. And yeah, and then this trap was like okay, but a lot of weird stuff going on here. It's not all for one archetype. It's kind of going in a lot of different directions, but that's what they like to do with the lore nowadays. Very curious to what you guys think here. Let me know in the comment section down below. Where do you land on these cards? Do you think they're great? Do you think they're not? What about Scareclaw, Kashatrila, and Tearlament? Because all three of those kind of getting help here. Where do you think everybody lands? I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that, so let me know in the comment section down below. And subscribe if you have not yet. Because what are you doing? We're going to the moon. But yeah, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.